It's Monday, June 9th, 2025, and this is episode 337 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. I'm Mark Duvall.
And I'm Dr. Mike.
Dr. Mike, all done with school? You're in summer vacation now?
Yep, summer vacation, although I'm going to do a little bit of summer schooling for like 3.5 weeks. So not full time or anything, just like 2 hours a day, 4 days a week.
Good. So you've been going to the casino then pretty much every day?
Actually, no.
I don't understand that at all.
Well, we've been working on the yard and doing a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, just haven't been out there.
Yeah.
The way my luck's been, in the last year, I'd say I'm saving myself a lot of money.
Yeah, my luck hasn't been going too well here lately. So let's just move on to the show. Dr. Mike, remember a few episodes ago, our buddy Ariel was talking about how he did a helicopter tour of the Grand Canyon, how much fun that was. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you said you are not looking to get into a helicopter anytime soon. I'm kind of the same way. You did say, though, you might consider it if you could fire like a machine gun out of the helicopter, right?
Right.
So on X, formerly Twitter, Red318 is pointed us to a company that does that, Gunship Helicopters.
Nice.
In Las Vegas. So you can shoot. I didn't look into all the details, but you're shooting a gun out of a helicopter. That's what you wanted.
Yeah, I might have to try that. I wonder how low you get.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Helicopter.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like it'd be lower than a sightseeing helicopter.
Right. And that might be scary. Lower for me might be scarier, right?
Well, but it's less distance to fall. Your chances of surviving are better.
Yeah, but your chances of falling are increased too.
Because you're leaning out the side.
Because you're leaning out the side and you're low and the wind's blowing and, you have less time to jump back in the helicopter.
Well, I'll put a link to the show notes, free advertising for them. On their website, it says it starts at $550 a person. So
that's pretty cheap.
Too bad
actually.
When you think what you're getting. Yeah, I would think that's actually not a bad deal.
No, not a bad deal at all. That's like having a $600 8 and, 7 comes up.
Right. It's like having a $600 8 and 7 comes up. You'd spend more money on the 8 than you would if you just went up in the helicopter.
I could have gone out and shot something up in the desert.
Yeah. You got to get your priorities straight.
Yeah, that's money well spent, actually, leaving a bunch of bullets in the desert.
Well, Dr. Mike, pretty much my whole life, I've had trouble just standing in one place.
Yes, I know.
I'm sure most of it's psychological. Some of it might be physical. But I mean, honestly, I remember in elementary school once, we were at like an assembly. We were practicing for some musical presentation we were going to do for the parents. And we all had to kind of stand there, like a choir. And the principal kept yelling at me because I was always kind of slouching and moving around. It's just, I don't know what it is. I can't stand in one place for too long.
You just can't stand in one place. Same at the craps table. You're always kind of moving.
Right. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because you're probably thinking, well, Mark, how long do you spend at the... Yeah, I am not standing still at a craps table.
No, you step back a lot. You move around. You walk around. Your dad was the same way, Mark.
Was he?
Yeah, when he had to sit still, he would twiddle his thumbs or...
Well, now see, but sitting I can do. Yeah, maybe I'm still fidgeting, but sitting in one place I can do. But yeah, you're right. At the craps table, gosh, I remember we were at Caesars Atlantic City, and a pit boss actually came over, sir, quit backing away from the table so much.
Right. Didn't he say something like, we're going to have to turn your bets off if you back up?
Yeah.
Something.
And I was always back to the table when the roll came, but anyway.
Right.
Yes, I can sit for long periods. Okay, now why am I bringing this up? So 360 Vegas Vacation is coming up here in a couple of weeks. It's going to be June 22nd through the 24th. That's a Sunday through Tuesday.
Okay.
And this problem that I have makes it difficult for me to attend cocktail parties. Things where you're just standing around talking to people.
Chatty, right.
If you watch me, I have a drink in my hand, I'm fidgeting, I'm moving around, I'm kind of looking like, how can I go somewhere else? And it's not because of the conversation I'm having or the people I'm with. It's just that standing thing. So the reason I bring it up is if you see me at 360 Vegas Vacation and I'm sitting by myself or with somebody else, just sitting, at a table instead of standing where everybody else is socializing, please come up and say hi. It doesn't mean I want to be left alone. It's just that standing, it bugs me for some reason. So,
well, it's a little intimidating though, Mark, because you're sitting there and there's 3 henchmen, one on either side of you and one behind you. Yeah. That's what's intimidating to people.
It is a lot of it. Just let me tell you, the henchmen won't do anything without my signal.
Right.
Okay. So just because you're approaching me doesn't mean they're going to go after you. Now, if I raise my hand to one of them, right, and then they make a step forward to you, then, back off. But
if you give them the nod, like, take them out.
So anyway, when you see me, come up to me, no matter the sitting, craps table, if I really am standing. But if I am standing and I start talking to you, don't be surprised if I try to find a seat.
Or at the if bar you're moving around. Yeah. You could just circle around the person when they start talking to you.
I just could do that.
Walking around.
That's right.
They have to swivel. They have to
No, I would just say, don't move your head. You don't have to keep your eyes on me the whole time. We can continue the conversation. Make eye contact when I'm right in front of you, and then I'll just keep going.
I'm just going to be circling. Well, it's a miracle you got married.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Talk about weddings. I'm thinking of your wedding. I'm just standing there. Probably at my wedding, I was fidgety. I mean, as the groom, you can move around a little bit more than the groomsmen. The groomsmen just have to, stand there. So.
Stand there. Yeah, your eye candy.
Yeah, your wedding's a blur as far as I'm concerned. I probably zoned out anyway. Yes.
Now, would alcohol help you if you were drunker? Could you stand longer?
No. I would say that probably would have the opposite effect. I'd probably be moving around even more. Yeah. Okay. No, I don't think that would help. I'll try.
Give that a try. Yeah. Just keep trying. Eventually, it's going to work.
Just keep trying. Mark, are you okay? Am I moving?
Yeah, just keep trying. Eventually, you'll hit the right amount of alcohol where you can stand still. You're like, well, Mike, it's not 18 gallons.
All right, so when we drop our next episode, it'll actually be in the middle of 360 Vegas Vacation. So that's why I bring it up now. We'll probably record you and I, Mike, before I leave. Sure. But the episode will actually drop the Monday that I'm there. So looking forward to seeing everybody there. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first. You can bet on that.com and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, our first call is from World Traveler Melanie.
Hello, Mark. Hello, Dr. Mike, or should I say Professor Mike? I love your Tales of the Classroom as much as the gambling stories there, Dr. Mike. This is Melanie from Colorado with a little trip report. I went to the oldest casino in the world. It began in 1638, and it's in the original building. It is in Venice, Italy, right on the Grand Canal, right on the water. In fact, I took a water taxi there. They have a free water taxi that'll take you from kind of the northern part of the Grand Canal. Pretty great value because a private water taxi runs 135 euros, so about $155. So I was stoked for the free ride. To get in, you have to pay 50 euros. That gets you 20 euros of free play and a free drink. Wasn't too keen on doing that, so I did a little research and found that you can have the hotel where you're staying email the casino before 6 p.m. the day you plan on going, and you'll get in for free. And that totally worked for me.
Nice.
So the staff was pretty unfriendly and cold and kind of glaring. It's kind of strange. Maybe it loosened up later in the evening. I went early because I had a early train out to Rome the next day, but really wanted to play poker there. They had 3 tables, but the game was not running after I'd kind of hung out for about an hour and a half. I ended up playing 10 euros in a variation of video poker. Didn't end up playing any table games. Looked like roulette or something. French roulette, I think is what it was called. It was on a ginormous table. They had to use like little devices to slide the chips to them. The chips themselves looked super interesting, very curious. I probably should have bought in just to have a chip, but almost look like one of those acrylic magnets that you get on vacation. So anyway, they had one smoking area. The rest was smoke-free, which was nice. No music playing, no ambiance. It was so strange. I take it back. There was a little bit of music playing in the bar, I believe. There was a tennis match on with only 2 people watching in the smoking area and maybe one other game in the bar, but otherwise no TVs, no music, not much of a vibe. I believe they had a €10 blackjack table, 3-2 rules. I ended up not playing just because I'm kind of there to have fun, and it was just sort of a slow start, I suppose. I think they had a variation of Baccarat, but it's called something different. Anyway, really glad I got to see it. I really wanted to see the property. I did get a few pictures before I saw the sign that said absolutely no pictures or videos. So I'll send those to you email. Anyway, really enjoyed that experience. A couple weeks prior to that, I played poker in Singapore. The minimum tables were $10, $20 Singapore dollars. And I believe $1 US equals $1.30 Singapore dollars. So much higher stakes than I'm used to playing. I'm a 1-3 player. Anyway, it was really fun. I think I was the only one there that spoke English as a native language, but the game is conducted in English. Really nice vibe there. They had tons of the usual machines. I didn't play any of those. They did have $10 craps, so I did play that. That crew, friendly, and had a good fun vibe there. So enjoyed that. And yeah, so just enjoyed some casinos around the world as I listened to You Can Bet on That, and had a new episode when I got home to get me all the way home to the mountains. Looking forward to seeing everybody in September in Blackhawk.
All right. Yeah. Thanks again, Melanie, for a great trip report.
Yeah, it's funny them being so distant kind of
in Italy.
In Italy. Because you think Italy, now I could see that maybe in France or Monaco, something like that. But you think Italy, they'd be, hey, that's amore, let's go.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Now, I've never been to Singapore. My brother has quite a few times, and he loves Singapore. Mm-hmm. He said it's modern. The people are super friendly.
Yeah.
Things are clean. He really loves Singapore. But Venice, I've never been either. We're going to Italy in a few weeks, but not to Venice.
Okay.
I've heard Venice is kind of dirty.
I've heard that too, and correct us if we're wrong. We don't want to offend any Venetians or anything like that, but I've heard the same thing, yeah.
I'm sure it's pretty, but it's just,
Yeah.
And we've got so many other places to go. It just wasn't on the top of our list.
Yeah. Well, they've got that flood that they still haven't taken care of in Venice.
Yeah, right.
It's just,
right.
Get to work.
Well, we're going to Florence instead.
Okay.
So I want to see Michelangelo's work and stuff like that.
Okay. It's not good enough just to walk through Caesar's Palace and see the David statue there?
Well, I'm going to compare them because I took some measurements when I was in Caesar's Palace. I'm going to compare that when I see David. We're going to Rome and Florence mostly because my wife wants to see the museums.
Good. And when's that? Like 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
Middle of July. So it's like 4 weeks away.
Okay, good. Well, Melanie was talking about a Baccarat variation. It probably was chemin de fer, which is like Baccarat, except the banker can make a decision on whether or not they want to take a card, whereas, Baccarat here in the United States, the rules are firm. And then French roulette, you hear about European roulette, having the single zero. If it's French roulette, then they have the La Portage rule or the En Prison rule, which benefits the player when zero comes up on an even money wager. We talk about those way back in episode 90 if you want to get the details on those rather than go through it right now. But anyway, thank you.
I don't know, how would you feel about a casino like that there's no music, it's very quiet, everything's really kind of low key, the dealers don't talk much.
Yeah, no.
Everyone's just standing around. That would kind of bother me.
Yeah, it would bother me too. Now, I realize there are probably plenty of people who would love that, and it could be kind of a cultural thing. But no, I like the high energy and the music and the people.
Yeah, I like the people. Now, sometimes the music gets too loud in some places.
Yes.
I understand that, and I don't really care for that either. Or if it's like overly crowded and you can barely move.
Sure.
I don't really care for that. But I like some music and some excitement, some moving around, Yep. I like being able not to answer your trivia questions about the music, things like that, I would miss that.
You like hearing the music and not being able to answer my trivia questions about the music.
Right.
I gotcha.
I enjoy both those things.
Who's this, Dr. Mike? They're super famous.
Yeah. And I can't get, and you get upset. How do you not know this?
Come on. It's Elvis Presley. It's Jailhouse Rock. You don't know that song? All right, we're going to actually hear from Melanie again later in the show. And speaking of Blackhawk, just a reminder, everybody, that the Blackhawk dates are September 11th through the 14th. They updated that recently. We mentioned on the last show. Just want everybody to know. Blackhawk, September 11th through the 14th. Hope to see you there. I don't know where we're going to be staying. I don't think we're going to stay at Horseshoe, although that's a guaranteed free room. I think we're going to mix it up. So maybe Ameristar or Monarch. Haven't made the reservation.
Yeah, you'll get it comped at the end.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. So, all right. Next up is our buddy Eamon.
Gentlemen, Eamon here, where I just got back from Edinburgh in Scotland. I went to Genting, I still don't know how you say it, Genting York Place. So there are 2 Genting casinos in Edinburgh, and York Place is very small. It has 3 blackjack tables, I think 3, maybe 4 roulette tables, and a few slots. Your house is probably bigger than this place, but it scratches the itch when you just need to get out. Blackjack started at £5 a hand, so it was great. We just, put 100 pounds down and played some 5-pound hands for a little bit. One thing that I really appreciated, there's a small little bar there, and the pit boss actually just has a little buzzer that they can ring the waiter or waitress to just come bring you drinks. So, it's not like Vegas anymore where you have to wait 45 minutes to an hour for drink service.
Nice.
So that was pretty great. The other Genting casino is the much larger one. It has a poker room and all that. But this one, like I said, it's about the size of your house, but it's a good little spot. All right, on to the next place. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Eamon. Hey, some international reports here.
Right, yeah. Now, Edinburgh is another place that my brother and sister have both said is beautiful.
Yeah.
And a really great place to go. Beautiful city.
Yeah, I've
nice
heard
city.
that too. Yeah.
Yeah, and then, they got gambling, which sounds good. Now, I don't know about the buzzer. I like the clickers better.
Yeah, I miss those clickers.
The clickers. I always like the clickers.
Yeah.
Now, with the noise level in casinos now, clickers probably wouldn't work so well.
Probably not. Yeah, what they need is like a shock collar on the cocktail servers, kind of like
right.
Put on a dog or something.
She starts convulsing. Oh, table 8 needs me.
This wasn't a good idea.
How about this? How about in our casino, Mark? We just have a big red light and some kind of siren connected to it that goes off. When the red light goes off and the siren, goes, that's a signal we need a cocktail waitress. We have one above every table.
That's such a great idea. It's funny, on the latest episode of the Better Life 2.0, Eric Rosenthal, Tim actually asked him, what would your casino be like? Right? Because he's talking about how you and I always talk about it. And it's so funny because Eric answered honestly. He wasn't putting all these, goofy fun things in. The rules would not be terribly good for the player. I would not have full pay video poker and 6-5 blackjack because I could get away. So I think his final comment was something like, I would never play in a casino that I would own because the rules would be so bad.
I think Eric's missing the idea of what owning a casino is. I mean, you want it to be fun, Eric.
That's right. You want to press your own coins with friends' pictures on them and
have
big signs.
Have giant sirens and stuff like that. So Eric's casino will be empty. Ours will be packed all the time.
That's right. And he'll still make money and we'll go under.
And we'll go under. But that's fine, as long as everyone has fun.
As long as we
we're old. What are we going to do with all that?
Right. Sue us. Genting. I think it's pronounced Genting. I don't think anybody's going to get mad if you say Genting, unless it's Mr. Genting. He might have something to say about it.
Yeah, people in Scotland are probably pretty easygoing.
I would think so.
Yeah.
All right. Next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Sean from Canada. Love the show. Been listening for years. You're at the very top of my podcast playlist every time. Got a poker story to share that I bet you haven't seen before. This is no joke. From my trip in early May. In poker room at Aria, seated a new player at our table. I'd been there about 30 minutes. He's very confused and doesn't speak much English. He has $500 in his hand and wants to give it to the dealer. The dealer tells him the chip runner will come get it. For those that don't play poker, there are 2 ways to buy into a table when you first start. Get chips from the cage, or buy it at the table, usually via another poker room staff member that will come grab your cash and go get your chips from the cage. You don't usually buy from the dealer when you first start, unlike casino table games. This usually takes a few minutes, so the dealer will mark you with a button that says player behind, indicating to the table that you have money in play, even though you don't have chips in front of you. After the dealer tries to explain about a chip runner to the player hands her $100 out of his $500. At this point, she gives up and gives him $100 in chips and starts dealing cards. Now all of us at the table are confused if he has $500 or $100 in play. I ask the dealer for clarification, and she says he has $500 in play. He is first to act and doesn't know what to do. It becomes clear at this point that he doesn't know how to play poker. I give the player sitting across from me a knowing shared look that says, this guy doesn't know how to play and shouldn't be playing here. But if he wants to lose his money, ... As he picks up his cards, me, sitting 2 people away, can clearly see both of his cards. He has fully lifted them off the table, not protecting them at all. He is also confused as to how or what to bet. The minimum bet is $3 to continue playing. However, he makes a $20 bet. Myself and the guy before me both fold. I ain't garbage, so I was happy to fold and not be in this hand. These are the kind of hands that can get a little crazy. The only caller is the woman sitting to my left. She has a big stack in front of her. I make a comment to her that she should just check him down. He doesn't know what he's doing. And then at some point, he asks if this is Baccarat. Now we all know what happened. Somehow, a Baccarat player got seated by the poker room staff at a poker table. However, the cards have already been dealt, and he's already in the hand, so he can't have his money back. The hand continues with $3 or $5 bets, nothing big. The 2 of them get to showdown, and he has to show his cards first. Turns out he has pocket kings, second best starting hand. He ends up winning the hand. He picks up his chips and leaves the table to go find the Baccarat room.
Yeah, that is pretty amazing. Did he go up to the brush and say, hey, I want to play a game. I need to get on a table? Because at Baccarat, you just walk up to the table, right? Did he just walk up to the table? Nobody actually sat him there? But yeah, that's pretty good.
Well, when he started telling the story, I knew right away. I thought, oh, well, this guy's, he doesn't know where he's at.
Yeah.
He thinks he's somewhere else. I thought he was going to say blackjack or something.
Yeah.
I've got 20.
Well, when Sean mentioned, oh, how much does the guy have behind? And the dealer said, I was worried that the story was going to be there's some argument at the end of how much he actually had at risk.
Yeah.
So I'm glad at least that didn't happen.
Is this Baccarat?
Well,
maybe. Yeah, it's Baccarat.
Yeah, it's Baccarat. Everybody got 2 cards.
Yeah.
Like at a real Baccarat table.
Right. We all got 2 cards. It's individual Baccarat games all going against one player, the dealer.
That's right.
Well, if he's from a foreign country, maybe he thinks, oh, this is how they play Baccarat.
Maybe that's probably where he said he didn't speak English very well. So yeah, maybe his first time in an American casino is just trying to figure out what's going on. So
he should have said, when are we going to spin the wheel?
Yeah, that's right.
I wonder how he felt walking away. He goes over to Baccarat. I'd like to raise.
That's right. What are the blinds?
Yeah, wins a bunch of money, walks away. It's a scam, Mark. He's angle shooting or something.
Yeah. All right, next call.
Hey, guys, this is Braxton from San Diego, California. I'm 19 years old, and my dad took me to the casino when I was 18, and I instantly gravitated towards the craps tables. I have no clue why, just love the idea of rolling dice up there at Barona. I had a couple questions, though. I love the game. I understand the game. I love teaching my friends the game. But I wanted to know, what are the odds of the cards lining up exactly ace through 6? I wanted to know what the odds are that it's real Vegas-style craps. My second question is, my dad taught me the games, and I got into online gambling, social casinos such as Fliff, where you get a free $1 every single day to bet. My dad was then worried that I had been gambling too much. But what my thing is, they're giving me a free $1. Why not take it? Like, why not use it? I just wanted to know, if Mike, your daughters did the same thing, would you be upset? And then my last thing is, every single time I drive up to the mountains to go work, I always have to stop at Cahuilla. Cahuilla is a Native American tribe, and they have $3 blackjack. Blackjack does pay 1-to-1, which sucks, and it's out of an automatic shoe, which even is way worse. However, it's $3. I wanted to know if you guys would play that, or if you guys would pass on that in a casino that only has Ultimate Texas Hold'em and 1-to-1 blackjack. Thank you, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't play that game. Again, it depends on what's available. He's saying the only other table game is Ultimate Texas Hold'em, but I'd probably look at that and think,
I've never been to that. Have you heard of that?
I've never been to it. No.
Yeah. I mean, if I was passing by from work, I would just think, well, they don't have craps and they don't have good blackjack, so I'm going to drive down to Verona on my way home.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I wonder if they have higher denomination blackjack games where they do pay 6 to 5 or 3 to 2. He was talking about $3 blackjack, but we'd probably avoid that.
I don't even know where that is. Do you, Mark?
It's like about halfway between Temecula and Palm Springs. It's kind of way out there by itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, then you'd probably go to,
well, again, he says he goes there, stops
right
there
by it.
Yeah, to work. So, yeah,
because I was thinking, you got Yamava up there, and there's another one out there that's got a full casino.
Well, but again, it just sounds like it's on his way to work. So it's not like he's going out of his way to go to that one. It's just.
Yeah, I think I'd just wait till I got home. Or stop at Paula or Perchanga or one of those.
Now, Braxton, we don't want to get between you and your dad here, so I'm guessing Dr. Mike is not really interested in answering your question as to whether or not he'd be okay with his daughters doing that, because we don't want you going back to, hey, look, Dr. Mike said it was okay for his daughters. How come you're giving me a hard time? So...
Well, my one daughter wouldn't do it because she's not that interested. My other daughter would do it, and I'd be okay.
All right. Well, Mike says he'd be okay. So if you want to use that for ammunition against your dad, go ahead.
I don't know if that's much ammunition.
Leave my name out of it.
He didn't say what high school he went to, so we don't know where in San Diego he is.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd have him meet Grace up at Verona.
Really.
They're same age or close. Yeah, so 6 prime is the answer to his question about the cards coming up, right?
So 6 factorial. So let's talk.
6 factorial, 720.
He asked, what are the chances of the cards lining up perfectly here in card-based craps in California, where they shuffle it every time? And the way that you figure it out is, well, what are the possibilities for the first card that comes out? Well, there are 6 possibilities. And how many possibilities for the second card coming out? 5 possibilities, and then 4, 3, 2. So you multiply them all together, 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. That's also called 6 factorial, and if you see it, the mathematical notation is the number 6 and then an exclamation point. And yes, that's 720 combinations, and there's only one combination where they line up perfectly. So your answer is 1 in 720.
That's assuming that the shuffle is completely random.
Correct.
A lot of times I've seen when they reshuffle the cards or they pick them up, it's not very well shuffled.
When I go to Hamul, they wash them pretty good. They mix them up pretty good before they set them out there. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was so much better when they tried to get away with just laying them down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Hopefully that'll come back. I was talking to a guy at the casino who said he saw that up in Northern California, and that the last report we got was they were doing it up there. We're guessing that won't last, but all right, let's hear from Melanie again.
Hello, Mark. Hello, Dr. Mike. This is Melanie from Colorado. I have a trip report from my home turf. That's right, Black Hawk, Colorado. Can't wait to see everyone there. Played poker last night, just the 1-3 game that I'm used to. It just gets off the rails there so much sometimes. Ended up winning $1,100 on a 1-3 game. It plays really big. It's pretty splashy. Very fun time. I ended up all in with suited ace king. Turns out against another suited ace king against ace jack. We split the ace jack's money when we both hit a straight. Interestingly, I got it all in pretty early. I think my stack had gotten kind of low, so I went all in with pocket eights. Somebody called me. Board ran out ace, 10-10, ace, something else. Anyway, I turned over my eights. The guy mucked his hand. He was very new to poker, you could tell, but his friend said, wait a minute, you should show your hand. So he got it back, turned it over. He had king two. So that was the winner because his king played. And the dealer was like, no, one person per hand. You can't tell him what to do. And they decided to let him unmuck his hand because it hadn't touched the other cards or the dealer's hand yet. He kind of was sitting next to the dealer and kind of slid it to him face down, not quite in the middle of the playing area. So anyway, that was pretty interesting that they went ahead and said, okay, he gets to win the pot, but you don't get to do that again. If you coach him again, then you're out to the person that was helping him. So anyway, ended up getting my money back from him in a later hand. I think it was the last hand. Well, not the last hand of the night, but almost. And a guy, he'd been playing really, really aggressively and seemed kind of tilted a little bit. Anyway, he'd been pushing everyone around the table, all night. So I think I was just in the big blind for $3 and had Jack 3, which is why this hand happened. The flop came out Jack 3-2, and he just kept betting into me large amounts, and I did that, just kept calling. And I think the last one was maybe a $350 bet. It just ran out blank, and no flush, no straights on board. And I called with 2 pair. Well, he had 2-3 for 2 pair, but my Jack 3 was better, so that definitely helped. But anyway, very, very fun. They have $25 single zero roulette. They have a double deck pitch game, blackjack. I did not play that one, so I don't know the minimum. And of course, they're ever popular, 100 times odds on craps. And the night after Jamal Murray got his 55-pointer for the Denver Nuggets, he was playing craps there that night, so that was kind of fun. Like our hometown crew. Anyway, all right, love the show, guys. Thanks. Oh, wait, I forgot to add one thing. I got my 9th Royal Flush. It was on a 5-cent Super Times X. It was just something I was playing while I was waiting for the poker seat to become available. But, of course, I always think of you, both of you, Mark and Dr. Mike, anytime I hit a Royal Flush. So, pretty funny.
Well, she was waiting for her seat at the poker table.
Yeah, even the guys at Crap Vegas hit a Royal here recently.
Yeah.
But so, jeez, we're the worst.
I've just given up that that's ever going to happen, Mark. Yeah.
That was a terrible decision on the part of the floor. Not because terrible. It's like, oh, is his hand mucked or not? I don't even care about that. It's because his friend said, wait.
Yeah.
Take your cards back and show them. That's the problem. Yeah. One player to a hand.
I would have been outraged. Yeah, I would have said, I won. He mucked. His friend can't pull someone else's cards back, which is in effect what he did.
Yeah, virtually. He didn't actually touch them, but you're right. But that should have, his intent was to fold, and another person told him what to do. I'm glad you got your money back, Melanie, at least, but I think that's a terrible decision.
What it would be like, Mark? It'd be like every time somebody screwed up, they flipped over the cards and the dealer said, oh, no, you would have won. You should stay in. Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's what it'd be like, right?
Well,
because people screw their hand up. I mean, we've done it.
Yeah.
You've not seen something.
You're right. But I mean, in your example, if the cards are turned up, cards speak.
Right.
So
I'm saying, it'd be like the dealer. People muck their cards and he flips them.
And he looks at them and says, "Oh, you should."
And points something out. Yeah. Right. I mean, what's the use of the game if you're going to do that? You got to know how to play.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have been upset. Yeah.
Yeah. And I understand. Okay, he's new to the game, and Melanie, if your philosophy is on it, just let him have it because he's new. I understand that. Good for you, Melanie. But if it comes down to what the rules should be. Yeah, I think that's
I think him being new is more recent for him to lose. He learned a lesson. Well, but you got to learn somehow. Maybe he thinks now I can just always say, "Oh, yeah,
right." But when his friend said, "Oh, yeah," he learns the lesson because somebody showed him, "Hey, wait a minute, you have the best hand because of your kicker." Right? It doesn't matter that she's got a pocket pair because they're too higher pair on the board. Yeah, I agree with you there. That is part of coming up in poker is learning some hard lessons. Yeah.
Yeah, you make a mistake here and there, or you make a poor decision betting or something. That's how you learn. I mean, I would have just said, hey, take that to heart and don't do that again next time.
Yeah.
Make sure you know what you got.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Big Lair.
Hi, Mark, Dr. Mike. This is Big Lair from Rochester, Minnesota calling. On your latest podcast, you mentioned about the situation at Main Street Station. Well, I was in downtown Vegas last month with my daughter. Took her over to the Main Street Station, and it was virtually a ghost town. The Boar's Head Bar, there was one player playing, and I can remember years ago that you had a hard time finding a seat at the bar. There was so many video poker players. They downgraded all or most of the video poker at the Boar's Head Bar. You used to get the scratch-off tickets for a four-of-a-kind or better hand. I think they do that electronically now, which is not the same thing as getting the scratch-off. The table games are only on Friday through Sunday, 9 a.m. to 1 a.m. Only, not during the weekdays, which is a sad situation. Their buffet, their brunch is open from 2 to 8 daily. Their dinner is only on Fridays and Saturdays, 4 to 9 p.m. The 777 restaurant, Monday through Thursday, they're only open in the evenings from 4 to 9. Saturdays and Sundays are open a little bit longer, but only in the evenings. And I can remember that restaurant being full most nights. So they're looking pretty sad there at Main Street Station. And I know I won't be playing there anytime soon. The life of that place is just had the life sucked right out of them. So take care. Enjoy your podcast. Hope to meet you, Dr. Mike, down there in Iowa at Diamond Joe's sometime. Like playing craps with you. Okay, that's it. Bye-bye.
All right, thanks. Dr. Mike, when's the last time you saw Big Lair?
Oh, it's been a while.
Yeah.
I haven't been going very much, but Big Lair, you should probably send us your phone number or something. I'll give you a call when I'm going down there. I can stop and pick you up.
Yeah.
it's on the way.
Gosh, I did not know about Main Street Station table games only being open on weekends.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Especially in Vegas. I mean, you might suspect that if you're way off strip or, some of these Indian casinos but in Vegas, gosh, even during the week.
I understand places like getting rid of their table games. Okay.
Right.
I can kind of understand that, you're just a slot joint. And like you said, if there's some way out of the way place, it doesn't make sense to have table games open all the time. But a place right there,
like downtown Vegas. Yeah, the last time I was in Main Street Station, Mark, it was packed. I remember.
Yeah, well, it was probably pre-pandemic, right?
Yeah, it is pre-pandemic, but I remember going in there, and I think it was you and I, and we didn't even play because it was so packed.
God, that could be. Yeah, you might be
Remember,
right.
the tables were packed, and we were like, we went somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, with a differing opinion, let's hear from Frank.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. Frank from St. Louis. Just a quick follow-up to your question about Main Street Casino. I stayed there a few times the past few years. I give it a high rating. There's no table games except on the weekend, but you can go to the Cal. Actually, it makes it a lot more peaceful in there. Rooms are nice, got comped. It's somewhat difficult to get a host, but once you get a hold of them, they worked with me. Front desk let me check in early. One of the few buffets left. I think it's the only one downtown. Quiet. And all around, I give the Main Street Casino a thumbs up. So if you're staying downtown, give it a try. Thanks. Thanks for all you guys do. Bye.
Yeah, for you and me, Dr. Mike, I don't think it would work because of the table games not being open. And the thing, okay, you can walk over to the Cal. But again, we're craps players. Cal is still double odds only, as far as I know.
That's not something we want. Yeah. We'd have to go to Circa or somewhere.
Yeah.
Like that.
So anyway, good. Thanks, Frank. Appreciate another opinion.
Yeah, probably a good place to stay.
Yeah, maybe, right? Again, we've never stayed in the room, so.
Yeah.
All right, next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Adam from New York. Just want to make a quick call. I finally did it. I made it all the way back to the beginning of your podcast, episode 1. And I've been listening to a few of the early episodes. And one of the things you were talking about is the poker home games and asking for suggestions for variations. I had a really, really simple one that I wanted to recommend. It's basically Texas Hold'em, which everybody knows how to play, but the difference is you play it as a draw game. So your first round, it plays out as normal. You have a big blind, a small blind. Everybody gets 2 cards. After they see their cards, they get to choose whether they want to draw 1 or 2, discard and draw new cards. And to do that, if they want 1 card, they would post a big blind. If they want 2 cards, they post a small blind. That just kind of builds the pot, and then it plays out from there as normal. So really simple modification, but it adds a lot of different variation to the game. Also wanted to give a quick trip report. My wife and I don't get out to the casino very often, but we went a month or so ago for a date night, and she's definitely up for Wife of the Year. We went to a mixed martial arts event and then the casino, so definitely a great time. She watched me play craps for a while. I went all the way down to table minimum I had my last $10, and I built that all the way back up to, I don't know, almost 300. So it was fun. I was tipping the dealers on every single roll, and walking away, I was down about $50, but I really enjoyed it and felt good about the game. So just wanted to leave that quick message and really appreciate you guys and your show. I listen to it every day, and thanks. Keep it going. Bye.
All right. Nice comeback, Adam.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I think his wife is up for Wife of the Year award.
Yeah. I wonder if she wanted to go to the mixed martial arts. Yeah, that's that and the casino.
Arts and the casino. That is something. That sounds like a good date night, actually. And she let him bet his last $10.
Yeah. Thanks for the suggestion on the poker home game, Adam. You know what I like about it is that if you draw 2 cards, it's only the small blind amount that you have to pay.
Yeah.
It's when you draw 1 card where you have to put in the big blind. Because initially you'd think it'd be the opposite, but I like that. It's probably going to generate more action, right?
Exactly.
Because, these 2 cards are terrible, and I only have to put in the small blind, not the big blind for. And then when would you only buy 1 card? I guess if you had an ace, maybe,
probably.
Right? Just hold on to the ace and draw. Right. I can't actually imagine when else you'd only draw 1 card. It seemed to me it'd have to be an ace.
It'd have to be with an ace.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it because it's a pot builder. That's
right.
That's a big pot builder, yeah.
Maybe I'll call it the home game, see how it plays out.
Yeah, do that, because I'd like to know.
I will.
I'd like to know how they like that.
It depends on the personnel. Like Mike, when you and Paul used to play, we played a lot of pot games. We'd play like AC Deucey and 4-3. You remember that game? This group that I play with now, they don't want anything to do with those kinds of games. So
they just can't
even get it started.
They just want Texas Hold'em and Omaha,
just more regular poker games. Those big pot games like AC Deucey. No, they just don't want anything to do with it, or they won't risk any amount. Oh, I have ace. All right, $2. In a $20 pot. Right? It's just they're not interested in it, so we don't play them.
So they're good gamblers, not fun gamblers.
There we go. Yeah. Our poker home game now is full of good gamblers, not fun gamblers.
Not fun gambling.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a general statement, but okay. All right. Next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Nick from Colorado. I was just calling with an interesting little trip report. I drove up to my local casino, and I was looking forward to playing some craps. And I went over to the craps table, and it was closed, and it was normally open at this time. So I sat down and played some baccarat, and I talked to one of the dealers who normally deals craps, and he said that the table wasn't open because they ran out of dice. He said that they went to go get some more dice from storage, and all, I think, 300 of them were out of balance, and they ordered 6 more sleeves from their normal manufacturer, and they got those, and those were all out of balance, and that the craft table had been closed over Memorial Day weekend, which I said was huge for them, and I think the table was going to be closed another 4 days or something like that. So I'd never heard of a craft table being closed due to lack of dice or only having out of balance dice. So I just thought that was interesting, and unfortunately I didn't get to play any craps, but I did get to lose very quickly at blackjack for about a tenth of the fun. So have a great day. Thanks for the show. Bye.
Yeah, that's a new one to me. I've never heard of that. No dice.
Yeah, no dice. Oh my God. Well, they had dice. They just weren't balanced.
Yeah.
Now, how does that happen?
Yeah, that's pretty bad. I mean, obviously that's at the manufacturer's level, but yikes.
Yeah, they got to stop buying their dice from Temu.
Yeah.
Right? Y'all have 10 cases of those dice.
Yeah. They don't need to be perfect, do they? I mean, they're good. They're just not perfect.
You know, sometimes we miss a dot or two.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, that is weird.
Yeah,
that is really, really weird.
Yeah.
And how could you order more and they're not balanced either?
Well, again, obviously, it's the manufacturer's the problem.
Yeah, are
right?
they not checking something? Or?
Yeah, you would think that there's got to be some quality assurance at this dice manufacturer, right? They don't test every pair.
But at least a few times a day.
Yeah, they take them out and they test it. Oh, right. We don't know.
We're not dice manufacturers. We've said that quite often.
Very often.
But it still seems odd.
Yeah, any dice manufacturers out there, if we're out of line, let us know.
All the attorneys will call.
All right, last call.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. My name is Kim. I'm from Philadelphia. I'm a first-time caller and a long-time passenger side listener because my fiance, Zach, is a very big fan. I'm calling to wish him a very happy first Father's Day and to say thank you to you both because your podcast has gotten him through a lot of late night and middle of the night feedings. The only feedback that we have for you is that you should sell You Can Bet on That baby apparel because our son Archie would definitely own some of it. I'm not much of a gambler myself, but I always remember to cover my basket when playing roulette. So thank you for all that you do, and happy Father's Day, Zach. Love, Kim and Archie.
All right. Happy Father's Day,
Very
Zach.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, first Father's Day.
Yeah,
That's always special.
congratulations. Yep.
Yep.
And happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, too. This will be
coming up. It's next week,
Next
right?
weekend, yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
next weekend.
Yeah. Archie, what a great name for a kid. Am I wrong, Dr. Mike?
Oh, as soon as she said that, that's what my first thought in my head was. That's a great name for a kid. Yeah. As far as apparel for babies, it would be one of those onesies, except the printing would be on the back and it would say, "You can bet on that," and an arrow pointing down towards his butt.
Yeah. Get on that, Mike. I think we might sell a lot of those.
Yeah, you can bet on that. You know me and babies, Mark. I'll tell you, Zach and Kim, if your baby ever gets constipated, all you got to do is get me to hold them, and that'll end that. Isn't that? Remember how many times I got crapped on?
I guess. I probably blocked it out.
I think both your sons did.
I'm sure they did.
I know Phil's son did. Every baby, Lynn always jokes, if your kid's constipated, there's two things you can do. Let Dr. Mike hold him or take him to McDonald's and get some fries. Either way, that clears up the problem.
Well, he's only 2 months. Oh, it's fine.
Oh.
Kim, just for listeners who may not know, she was talking about the basket in roulette. The basket is the first 5 numbers, basically, on American roulette wheel. 0, 00, 1, 2, and 3. It's the only place on the roulette table where you can bet on 5 numbers.
5 numbers, yeah.
And that's known as the basket at the roulette table.
It's funny. She's the passenger seat listener.
Yeah.
So is my wife, as a matter of fact.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some recurring donations. From James, from Jeremy at the Color Up YouTube channel, and from Kurt. Thank you very much for those recurring donations. We also got a donation from listener Troy. Karma donation for 4 nights at Four Queens and the D. Flights up in a few hours. That is all. Excellent. Well, Troy, hopefully
all right, Troy,
you're doing good in Las Vegas. And we also got a donation from our buddy Robin Aubin. Thank you very much, Robin. Looking forward to seeing you sometime soon. Hey, at the top of our webpage, you'll find a link to our store where you can buy You Can Bet On That merchandise at 50% off. Also, you can find a list of all the gambling-related shows coming up on American television at youcanbetonThat.com/TV-listings. And we've got a list of gambling-related movies at youcanbetonThat.com/movies. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
Or you can email us at youcanbetonthat@gmail.com. We're also on Twitter at youcanbetonthat and on Facebook at facebook.com/youcanbetonthat. Dr. Mike, what do you got for us?
Well, first off, I wanted to say a big, huge thank you to one of our listeners, Coach Matt, who reached out to me because he had saw something I posted about one of the high school football players at the high school this year. And he volunteered to talk to him and give him some advice about recruiting and stuff.
That's great.
And I'll tell you, it's awesome. He had great ideas and it really helps a lot. And I'm just happy to say that just through, the You Can Bet On That show, we've helped a kid hopefully get into a college somewhere to play football.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, that is absolutely fantastic. And thanks again, Coach Matt. I wished we could get together and play in person together.
It'll happen one day, don't you think?
It'll happen. Yeah, well, he's living in the Pittsburgh area.
Right.
And my wife, Lynn, has a good friend that lives in Pittsburgh. And we keep saying we're going to go up there and visit her because her and her husband came and visited us. And it's funny, she was Lynn's good friend. He went to medical school when I went to dental school, and we were in the same year. And we played basketball and stuff together. And I've known him. He went to UCSD before that. I've known him a long time, and then that was one of her best friends that she nursed with.
Small world.
So it all comes together. So we're eventually going to get to Pittsburgh, and Coach Matt's on our list to visit.
Great.
So that's one. And number two, I was going to mention to you, Mark, since I haven't been, having the opportunity to go to the casino much lately, I sure have had a lot of casino dreams lately.
Oh, a lot of dreams? Yeah.
Yeah. And I was thinking about that. What's your opinion? You have more good dreams where you're winning big or more dreams where you're not winning and it's terrible?
I think we talked about this on a recent episode, but mine are usually very anxiety inducing.
Yes.
Like I can't get my point across to the dealers, or the layout is weird, or we're using 4 dice instead of 2, and I'm not sure which 2 they use to call a roll, right? And they don't use chips for the bets. Instead, they use, sandwiches. It's always something weird. So
my recurring one is that I can't figure out the odds. They're paying me, and I'm like, wait, I think that's wrong, but I can't. No, is that right? And I just can't get it.
Yeah,
it just drives me crazy. And that one seems to recur a lot lately.
Now you need to get back to the casino so you can learn those odds again.
And maybe it's just my fear of getting Alzheimer's or something.
I know that.
But I don't mind if I forget, like my daughter's name, but geez, I don't want to forget the payout on a 5.
Yeah, how can you tell if the dealer's making a mistake or not?
Anyway, I've been having a lot of those lately. I got to get out there at some point and just hope to have good luck. It's just been so miserable this year.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm on a losing streak.
I don't know why. There's no reason for it.
Well, it's gambling. That's why.
Yeah, I know, but I haven't changed anything. It's just like, come on.
I haven't changed
Come on.
anything. Yeah.
Maybe that's the problem. I haven't changed anything.
Yeah. All right. Well, looking forward to seeing everybody at 360 Vegas Vacation.
Yeah.
And we will talk again in 2 weeks.
Oh, one more thing.
Go ahead.
One more thing. When you're there, you could just FaceTime me. If you're standing there talking to somebody and you have to, move, just give them your phone and FaceTime me and I'll talk to them till you get back.
Sounds good. As I'm like circling them or circling the casino. Here, talk to Dr. Mike. I have to walk.
Yeah. FaceTime. I can see their faces. All righty. Good night.
All right. The game is San Diego Scooby-Doo. 3 decks. We use all the jokers and instruction cards.